Hi, and welcome to the first development diary video for The Last Drop. For those of you watching who follow the Will to Survive project, you'll be aware of what this project is. For those of you who haven't been following, the basic gist of The Last Drop is that it's an adventure survival game with roguelike elements where you have to escape a deadly tomb before you die of thirst or at the hands of some of the enemies that are lurking in the tombs. I'm just going to be talking briefly in this development diary about one particular section of the game, but if you'd like to find out a little bit more about what's previously gone on, the Will to Survive development diary videos are quite handy and quite relevant for this game. Okay, so what I wanted to show in this video, just briefly, is the start of the new combat system that I've been working on. If I go into this room, it should automatically trigger, and you'll see it does a little intro where it pans to each enemy. They do like a reaction animation, which is just basic at the moment, and then you are given this movement grid. Obviously it fades the environment to black. Obviously you get a nice little highlight to show which cell you're currently hovered over. And it's worth saying that as soon as you walk into a room, you might not trigger combat straight away. This is just something that I've kind of done to make sure it works straight away because I need to test it. You can obviously select an opening action here. There's one selected by default, which is movement, and if we click on that, we've only got movement available anyway. Basically at the moment we're just trying to work through each different action and get them working first before we move on to the next. Once you've selected a closing action which gets locked in, you can then select a cell to move to. So if we move to that cell there and hit go, you'll move to it and then the grid updates. One of the nice things that it does at the moment, and I'll just kind of click here to show you, basically that's the middle of the grid, and the character can move up to 5 spaces in either direction, which includes diagonals as well. So as you can see, it's a square grid that you normally get. However, the way that the grid is actually displayed, it actually pathfinds each one of the cells if there's an obstruction present. So obviously you can't walk over an obstructed cell, and when you want to get to a cell such as that, the objects obviously get in the way. So for these rocks in particular, if he were to move, he would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and get to there, but he wouldn't be able to get to these cells here, which is why they're not available. Obviously if you went down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he can get to there. Now at the moment he's cutting corners, so essentially what should happen is he should go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that one would be inaccessible as well. But yeah, basically it's pathfinding to make sure that you can actually walk to these in the limit of steps that you've actually got, and works with quite a few things. Obviously you can see that one's blocking there, but he can get to all the others fine. Later on that'll take into account enemy positions and things like that as well, but for now we're basically just slowly getting through the different actions available. The next step is to polish up the movement and then look into giving the enemies their turn so that they will perform an action as well. Okay, so that's all for this development diary video. All being well, in the next development diary video I should have a bit more combat to show.